Welcome, everyone. My name is Ed McClements, and I'm the owner of SonShine Solar.pro. We are a solar company, but one that's quite different than the others. Our solar company, you see, is one that has the combined expertise, actually, of a certified financial consultant. Secondly, a realtor with some 30 years of experience in home improvements and helping homeowners sell their homes faster and for higher values. And one of the best solar companies, manufacturer of solar equipment, one of the biggest installers. But we come to you with a difference, and we appreciate very much you spending some time with us so that we can share that view and that we can help you not make one of the major mistakes that we see other solar companies offering, and with a lack of information, homeowners are saying yes to, and it's a very, very costly mistake in getting that type of solar program. And I'll cover that in the next slide. So thank you very much for being with us, and I look forward to this opportunity of sharing just input on solar and why we all should consider doing it right away. As we begin, let's explore how and why to buy solar for your home. Many of the additional materials and YouTube videos that we've had a chance to explore are normally done by engineers or maybe electrician or handyman, someone who's in the solar sales business that is showing it as a very interesting and money-saving device to install a solar system from your house. We are going to approach that a little bit differently, and we want to look at what is the best possible way from a financial planner's point of view to get a solar system. We're going to look at how that system should be financed with the expertise of a realtor who is well-versed in how a homeowner can get a home improvement loan that would fully finance the cost of their home solar system, and how that home financing would be at a much lower rate than the leases that are being offered incorrectly, we feel, by many solar companies. So we'll explore these as we go along, and we'll go to the next slide. This slide is very interesting because it points out the fact that the largest single buyers of solar today are your utility companies, your electric company that you're buying services from. This slide actually looks at the yesterday approach where all electricity was being produced by the use of fossil fuels and the many negatives that brings to our climate. Today we're seeing the utilities companies have a different look. They are still getting power through the lines from fossil fuels, but we can see on the roof that they are installing not only solar at their location, but buying very large solar farms so that they can get the electricity produced for free and send it to us at our homes at the same rate that we've been paying in the past. The third image, of course, is what should be today and tomorrow. Because solar is now recognized as the best possible use of free electricity and power that is generated by the sun, and it's right at your home, right at the spot where you're going to need and use this service every single day. This slide shows us a little complex, I may admit, but it's showing you an electric bill both before and after the installation of a potential solar system. We are seeing in this case that that family was paying $368 every single month for the electric service. The after bill, after installing solar, it was reduced to $65, which in that particular case would have been a little bit less than an 18%, I guess, remaining, so maybe a 82 or 83% reduction in their electric service. Notice the before bill, both the top and bottom of the before bill. And I want to call your attention to how you're billed and how important it is to read your electric bill. You see, the electric companies have a very interesting way of charging us for electricity. They feel the more that you use, the far more you should pay for each additional kilowatt hour of electricity. Notice that tier number 1 down in the left-hand corner, then tier 2, tier 3, and tier 4. It spells out those rates, which are hard to read, but if you use hardly any electricity at all, the electric company charges you only 15 cents per kilowatt hour. The second tier would have been 19 cents. The third tier is charged at 28 cents. And the fourth tier, where most all of our service really is being used, is at 32%, a rate of more than 100% of the lowest rate. Now, the after bill shows the difference of how much was used in those previous months and how in October it dropped down drastically. And underneath that, it shows that instead of having all of the services being paid at all 4 rates as it was in the previous month, now we've cut off that entire 4th tier completely. We pushed that line backwards so that we're paying, still connected, still using the electric service that you have, but we pushed it down into the lowest possible cost per kilowatt hour for your family. That's the objective, is to not replace the electric company, but to push those rates way back into the area where they are affordable. Each homeowner has an option to really design a solar system so that it stays within a price range that's affordable to the homeowner. So the objective is really to reduce the cost of your electric bill by anywhere from 50 to, let's say, 90%. A lot of times that objective really is most effective by cutting your bill by about 70%. Here we're seeing an option that is similar to most of the ads being offered by solar companies. They're suggesting that if you're already convinced that solar is a way of the future and can save you a very large amount of your budget right now that you're paying for electricity, then they hope you'll call. We'll be glad to take your call that way also. But we're a company that wants to meet with you personally, wants to see your home, make an energy audit so that we can find the places that electric is being wasted and where we can conserve on the bill. And many times that audit alone, which we do as a free service for our clients, that audit alone can reduce your electric bill by anywhere from 5 to 10%. So that can help a great deal in addition. So beware of those companies that are trying to simply sell by phone, have you send them your electric bill, and then send you a proposal and a contract and encourage you to sign and jump into solar without very little being done or ever meeting them in person. Many of us have very little background on how electricity is really made and why that is very important to us. In a book titled Rooftop Revolution by Danny Kennedy, who's certainly a leader in the field of solar energy today, he had a graphic that I thought was very, very helpful for any of us to understand those particular sources. We can see here that in the diagram how to make fossil fuel electricity. It all comes from the sun. And the sun produced plants more than 300 million years ago. And over time, they have been compressed into the soil. We realize probably in the very earliest days of man that some of these rocks of coal were even on the surface, and that they could be burned as fuel. But since that time, of course, the coal mining industry has been developed, so it mines open pit mines in addition to the coal miners that have for many generations gone into the mines to produce the coal. But the whole objective is simply to build a fire. To build a fire under a pot of water that produces steam. The steam turns a turbine generator that generates that lightning bolt, which is electricity. That electricity is then sent down through the line, through wires, through a transformer on a pole outside of your home, and then into your home. That's how fossil fuels are made, a very cumbersome and expensive proposition, and also producing CO2 gases that are now causing immense changes in our climate. In contrast, we can see how solar energy is produced. The sun is generating electric power, power that is converted when it hits the solar panels on your roof. There is no expensive wires, which has to be installed on poles outside of your house. It's bringing a source of free power, his power, to your home for free to power and meet the needs, electrical needs of your home. When we started our firm, SonShine Solar, we were asked, well, why would we leave the financial planning and the real estate field? Actually, we're not leaving our field. It's that the solar system, when it's attached to the roof of a home, is being attached to the most important single asset that the average family owns. Unfortunately, we believe that a lot of the information that is needed by a homeowner to fully appreciate solar is not being shared by those people who are installing a solar system and driving away, and that's the end of what they do. You see, the ability of the government to encourage us all to be using solar on our homes, they create an instant federal tax return of 30% of the total cost of the system that we install. The average, larger home, let's say something in the between 2 to 300,000 square feet home, may have a cost, solar system cost, that's somewhere between $15,000 to $25,000, a significant amount. The government is willing to give a tax credit. Now, a tax credit is a pure dollar refund, deduction from any taxes that you owe. So it is the same as receiving a check as a refund from the IRS for 30%. And let's say a solar system for a particular home cost $21,000, that 30% is a $7,000 tax refund. However, that is lost. That is only paid to the people that are the owners of the solar equipment. And we feel very, very concerned that there is an area of ethics here where the average solar company is not explaining that well, and they are simply presenting solar to well-meaning homeowners who want to go green and take the advantage and the instant savings on their electric bill, but are not being told that by leasing, they're losing the $7,000, and it's redirected to the very people that they're entrusting to install their solar system. $7,000 for the average family is a very substantial amount of money, and as financial planners, we think there is such an amount of positive, proactive financial planning that can be done with those funds that could solve the future financial needs of the family over and above the amount that they save on their electric bill. So number one is mentioning the federal tax credit of 30% on the total cost. Number two is that most solar companies have no background in real estate. So therefore, they do not understand that a homeowner installing a solar system, it places that home in a different category for the multiple listing services that we as realtors use, and that home is in a category called a green home. And estimates currently are coming in that if a system was bought for $21,000, it's having an increase in value of about 150% on that cost of the solar system. So even making it a little bit simpler, let's say the system cost $20,000, that means the value of the home has gone up $30,000, 150% of the 20. So that's an important factor there. Other estimates are when we have interviewed different home appraisers, they're saying that they cannot compare a house without solar to one that has solar. That means that your green home can only be compared when there's a market study done for somebody who wants to buy your house in the future. It will be compared to other green homes, and in most cases, that will cause somewhere between a 5 to 7% increase in the square footage cost of your home above a neighbor's house that's just the same as yours, but where they do not have the solar system. The third item listed on this slide is saying zero down. The appeal that the solar companies are making in doing their leases, they're saying you can buy this with nothing down. Well, everybody can buy it with nothing down, simply using a home equity loan or a home improvement loan. And that loan, the home improvement loan, is secured by the property itself, so therefore the interest rate is normally in the 4% range versus the lease rate, which is most likely to be 6% or more. Another nice thing about the home equity loan is that it may be, in fact, tax deductible. So the net amount that you pay is really closer to 3%. An important factor that financial planners are aware of, but your home solar installer is not. It's normal for the solar systems to have a 20 to 25 year warranty. There's really no moving parts to the system, so it will work fine with little or no maintenance. The profit or the payment for the solar system using the home equity loan, normally in the first 10 years, just what's been saved every single month will be enough to pay off the entire solar system with no change in the budget of the homeowner. But it goes on from there. As a financial planner, in the years after the solar system is paid off, the years, let's say, 11 through 20, it will produce a tremendous investment return, that funds that can be used for creating a student's education account, and also creating a very sizable early retirement account for the homeowners themselves. Solar is certainly here to stay. We all need to learn more of the facts. This slide shows that solar produced 57% of all the new electricity in 2013. 57%. Electric companies, as we mentioned previously, is the largest single buyer of solar systems. And the reason is certainly it costs them also far less than going to fossil fuels to produce steam to turn turbines to get the same electric power that they then have to send hundreds of miles to our home. The third fact is that the electric company, as we mentioned earlier, also has a tier system. The more you use, the higher the cost per kilowatt hour. And that's the same kilowatt hours that is shown on your bill. The cost of the panels, this is an amazing fact. The cost of a solar panel rated on the amount of kilowatts that it will generate per hour. 4 years ago, the cost was $4 for every single kilowatt. Today, through the improvement and far greater mass production of solar panels, the cost is reduced to 80 cents per kilowatt. And that's only in the last 4 years, and is continuing to drop. We now have statements from the government saying that 2/3 of all American homes would have a substantial savings at this much lower rate if they changed to solar today versus what they're paying their electric companies. And, of course, to mention once again that there's a tax credit of 30% of the cost is given back by the government. But I do need to point out that tax credit is only there until, or for systems installed before 12/31/2016. Certainly your home is by far the largest financial asset for most all American families. Anything that you can do that increases that value is normally very cost effective. When we consider solar being added to your home, it represents, we believe, an increase of 150% of the cost that you incur for the solar system itself. That puts it in the number one category. And in addition, the $7,000 on average refund from the government makes that even a greater return. Here is a list of 1 through 10 of other improvements that a person could make for their home, and none of these are subsidized by the government. All of them are an action that would potentially add to the value of your home, but nothing would return the same as you installing a solar system. The financial planning consultants that are with us can't overemphasize the importance of being able to purchase your solar system with a home equity loan at the lowest rate, tax deductible, and having the ability that whatever the savings happens to be on your particular installed solar system, the amount that you save each and every month, your terms and payment amount can match that exactly, so that you do not increase your budget. Even though you have a brand new solar system installed, you're immediately saving money. It's the dollars that are saved on your electric bill that are used as the payments on the home equity loan. So no new expenses, zero, and the lowest possible rate of interest on your system. Most systems with that design are paid off in anywhere from 9 to 10-year period. And your system should be lasting 20 to 30 years easily without any cost of any major maintenance or replacement. So the return and the savings on each month's bill can, after the system is paid for, are invested into an account, if you choose, that will build up a very significant asset for student funds and or early retirement. The solar system, as I mentioned, has a warranty of 20 to 30 years. The profit that comes, or actually the savings on your electric bill, when they're invested in the 11th through the 20th year, here's an example saying that if your average electric bill was $200 a month and a 4% loan rate, the solar system would be paid in the period of between 1 to 10 years. After that time, the money can be invested in a very conservative investment and be available for education and retirement. Here we can see a good example that the solar power that you're installing for your home is the greatest return of all possible home improvements. Summary includes saying that first, the $7,000 in this example tax refund. We're seeing a $31,000 sample increase in the value of your home. Number 3 is simply saying that you're getting the system at a much lower rate because you're not leasing, and instead it is part of your home equity loan, home financing. The solar system has a 20-year warranty, and those additional $200 savings per month being invested can produce additional funds. On the bottom, it shows a total of $7,000 plus $31,500 plus $24,000. $62,000 is available there for you. So it is one of the most important financial resources for you to be aware of and take advantage of. We have tried to view many of the YouTube videos that are out there that help explain the advantages of having a solar system. I thought this was a very interesting and very educational review of the 300 years of fossil fuels, all told in a story and in a manner of using only 300 seconds. So I encourage you to click on the title and invest that 5 minutes involved as a very good introduction to how this can be very helpful for your children to understand and for all of us to see why solar is the present and the future for our country. Here again we have Home Solar Economics 101, another way of explaining the advantages of solar and why it makes economic sense for us to be in part of this. It's very informative, and it's only an investment of 2 minutes and 50 seconds. So I encourage everyone to click on that and watch it, please. Here we have following a series of graphics that I thought were very helpful to understand some of the principles. This one in particular is stating new sources of electric power in the year 2014. They are projecting that solar will produce 53% of all new electric power this year. We can see others that natural gas is increasing, coal is not increasing, wind is doing 14%, and others 3%. So, an interesting graphic for us to view. Solar certainly is changing our world. As we get a chance to see some of these photographs, we can see that the picture in the lower left-hand corner is very much like the street that I live on here in Southern California, in which more than 10% of the homes on our street already have solar installed. Also, I find the picture in the lower right-hand corner. This is a new major football stadium being designed in Germany. Germany is the leader of all countries in the world at this point in using solar. Here they have a giant stadium in which it is entirely encapsulated with solar panels. I enjoy some of the graphics on this page in particular. I like seeing the green house in the upper left-hand corner, the one underneath it showing the dollars, two different ways. The dollars are in the form of the instantly reduced electrical bill. In addition, the value of the house itself has increased. On the right-hand side, I enjoy all three of those graphics also. The middle one showing how potentially the savings from your electric bill can be invested over time and actually pay for your children's education and give you a very substantial early retirement account on top of everything else that you may be doing otherwise. This is simply coming from dollars that currently go to the electric company and come back as a canceled check. The one in the lower right-hand corner, my wife had an interesting comment. She says, when we were much younger, the objective of our country was putting a rocket on the moon. And with our solar company, we are simply making a socket to the sun. Kind of cute. And a cute representation of it in that little graphic. A brief comment on this page. We have solar just maybe 10, 15 miles from us at San Onofre. But because of leaks and problems, they have shut the entire system down. That graphic shows solar is going to certainly be replacing the worries and risks that atomic power presented to us here in the past, and certainly the disaster that's so fresh in our mind in Japan. I think on the lower right-hand side, too, that's an interesting. I think it's a good symbol showing us the total electric home. Many years ago, Disneyland had one of its rides, which was the Carousel of Progress, and it would take you on a ride through the homes of tomorrow. Now, this was 30 or 40 years ago. And they were predicting things like this, that the houses would be totally electric at that time. Well, it didn't come to happen yet because of the high cost that your electric companies are charging you. But when electricity is free, That's going to change everything. That's going to mean that you'll be able to have separate air conditioners, highly efficient, uh, ones that they refer to as heat pumps. It gives you a source of cooling when it's warm and a source of heat when it's cold out. And those will all be powered by the solar systems that you're using, and they will all be for free. So a lot of home improvements will be made with the totally electric home generated by the solar electricity that is provided by your own system. In this graphic, we can see that the growth in solar jobs is approximately 10 times faster than the national rate of new jobs in our country. Here again, we see a good example of the objective of a solar system for your home. It's not to replace your bill entirely. Remember that tier system where the lower amounts of electricity are very reasonably priced. So we simply want to take a solar system that can be designed and highly efficient, that will reduce your solar bill or your electric bill by 50 to like 60, 70, 80, 90%, and still have the electric service attached to your home, and that's referred to as an on-the-grid system. Some cases, actually, in some states, the electric companies will pay you for the excess solar that you're producing on certain days that you're not needing for yourself. It creates a positive credit that the electric companies will provide you with. And that may be true in your particular state. Here is a very interesting estimate of the amount of carbon that is being saved from your home solar system. By going solar, it's the same as your family going out and planting 2,500 trees. Or it's the same as not driving your gasoline car to 285,000 miles. Imagine that. I know certainly it's very recent that we all had a chance to witness the terrible effects of the hurricane hitting New York and that entire area. And seeing the water coming over the water barriers and filling streets in New York City and the subway, this is terrifying. And the next one could even be far worse. So we are concerned about the carbon footprint and making this world that our grandchildren will live in to be far different than what we enjoy at this point. It's interesting to ask that question, that if you were to lower your electric bill by, let's say, 70%, and if you could perhaps either lower or totally eliminate your gasoline usage because you have purchased a hybrid car or the newest type of car, a plug-in vehicle, where all of your driving could be done and fueled simply by plugging in your automobile when you come home at night. Now, normally the plug-in is very efficient, but I guess I've heard the estimates currently that it would cost you $5 to charge the average plug-in car if you're using the power from the electric company. But if you're using your own solar power, all of that is free. So the question is, how much could you save if you no longer had any gasoline payments to make? Facebook recently did an ad saying that solar power grows at about 60% a year, but then goes on to share that Facebook grows even faster than that. An interesting fact that they put at the bottom of their ad is that if you have a neighbor that already installed solar, you should go to that neighbor and have them share with you their experience. And hopefully, they did not lease their system. So they would have received the tax refund, and they would be enjoying every single month that substantial savings. I have a neighbor that I did that with a couple of days ago. He has a very large home and a very large family, and even has a little workshop behind his house. And he says, Ed, my solar bill was $1,400, not solar, excuse me. His electric bill was $1,400. He installed solar, and so far it has reduced his bill by 50%. So he now only pays $700. And he's looking for additional ways to expand his solar system to reduce that even farther. Just a few comments on the state of California. In California, we have more than 50% of the entire solar systems for the rest of the United States. But other states are producing extra financial incentives for homeowners to install solar in addition to the federal benefit they would receive. In the lower left-hand corner is an interesting graphic that shows we have a coal industry with a decreasing number of jobs. Currently, about 86,000 coal jobs remain. Already, the solar industry has over 119,000 solar jobs. Of course, at every opportunity, as the president who supports solar tries to provide additional incentives, he's met with the resistance of the fossil industry barons, those who want to continue dirty production of electricity through the use of fossil fuels, both coal and, of course, oil. And the rich individuals who have earned their fortunes from those industries are doing everything they can to turn the election and to buy the votes and buy the influence that will do everything possible to discredit, disprove what we now know as facts, that the solar system is here, it's here to stay, and it will be growing by huge amounts as each of us as homeowners make that intelligent decision to change. At this opportunity, I'd love to explain how we feel that SonShine Solar can make a difference in your family. Using the expertise of a certified financial consultant whose primary objective is to build wealth for your family and to reduce current taxes, using the skill of a realtor with more than 30 years of experience, one of the leading producers on sales of homes in Southern California. One who is also associated with a number of home improvements and realizes that the solar addition to a home may now certainly be the number one cost-effective, high-return change that a homeowner can make to their home. And third, choosing one of the largest producers of solar panels here made in the United States and with major professional installers, electricians, and roof contractors that make the overall job inspected from every viewpoint and turning out the best possible solar system for you. We would like to think these things are possible. In the following slides, we will share that information with you. Thank you. I want to ask the question that what if your current electric company was willing not only to provide electricity at a much lower rate, but also would open up a student education fund, assuring you that there'll be funds available to send your children to the colleges they choose. And as the children are mature and you are then alone, you and your wife may enjoy an early retirement, meeting all the necessities of life and having funds that are available to enjoy those things, such as travel and your grandchildren, and have a bright outlook for the future. What if they could do that? We think that SonShine Solar can really, with its combined talents and professional skills, can really accomplish all of those things. And we'll share that in the following slides. Here we hope to be showing the synergy that is possible by combining the different professions of financial planning, real estate professional, and top producing solar companies all working together to produce a better outcome for a solar system and generating of assets for the future for your family. Today there are many types of solar companies to choose from, and too often we're finding it is an electrician who has found this to be a new valuable direction. It may be a plumber. It could be a handyman. It could be any of the people that have been involved with any of a varied number of home improvements. But they are involved in selling a system. It's like walking into a Sears store and buying a washing machine and dryer. The merchandise that is provided is very good merchandise, but you pick it up, you install it, and it is not something that they're concerned with the overall efficiency of your home from an electrical audit standpoint, and they are not concerned certainly with any of the financial needs and goals and objectives that the average family has, and how they are all affected by having a solar system as part of their home. Let's talk about how can you spot the difference in these other solar companies. Number one, we're finding that the biggest major national sellers of solar systems are doing it by rooms full of salespeople on the phone. They want to sell you a solar system that has a great deal of complexities to it and a great deal of impact on your future financial security for your family, and they want to do it by phone. They don't offer a free energy audit at your home. That is one of the key ingredients that we think is a wonderful way for us to get to know you personally and for us to show you our interest in your family by coming up with recommendations that even without a solar system will save you 5 to 10% of your bill. They get their information from Google aerial maps, so that once you call them, if you send them your bill with the address, they can go to Google Map and get a photo of the front of your home, the roof line of your home. They then do a quote, and they place little solar panels on the particular roof that would be most favorable to be effective for a solar system. Then they email you a contract, and they expect you to sign that and to pay $1,000 before anybody even arrives at your home. This is something to be very cautious about. They encourage a family also. Almost all of them are getting more than 60 to 70% of the systems they install. They're telling people to take the line of least resistance. And they say that line is simply leasing the product from them. They'll approve you right away, and it's only 6 or 7% interest rates on their lease and no money out of pocket at all. What they don't tell you, I'm afraid, and I give credit to those that do, but they don't tell you that the $7,000 on average federal tax credit is going to them. They're not only making the profit on the solar system they sold, but they're getting the windfall profit from your solar system sent to their solar home office. So my instructions are, under no circumstances, do not lease your solar system. Let's consider the choices. You presently have an electric company, and for the sake of the following example, we're going to suggest that your total electric bill on the average is $280 per month. The choice is going to be, would you like to pay the $280 a month solely to the electric company and get back a canceled check for that? Or would we want to consider SonShine Solar and a home solar system that will have a total cost also of $280 per month? But both of these choices are going to provide all of the electricity for your home, same as it does right today. Your current electric company is providing only a piece of what we think is really the total pie of services that your family can benefit from. They're taking a wedge. They're charging $280 per month for that. And another very interesting fact is that for the last 10 years, the average electric company has increased their bills at a rate of 6% per year. We spend very little time going over our bill, and it changes every month, so it's very easy not to have noticed the creep in the electric bill. But over a period of time, that becomes an immense number. Let's next compare what SonShine Solar would do. It would take the same $280 of your current electric bill and reduce it to only $70 per month going to your present electric company. In the first wedge, we see Solar Electric Service for 70% of today's rate. Notice it also says that it's a frozen rate. There will never be, for that 70%, any of the 6% increases that the solar portion that we still keep is going to undergo. The second wedge at the bottom says that your current electric service, which has now been reduced to 30% of the original, is only $70 per month. And we again point up that that is increasing and would continue to increase at 6% a year. The last part of this is showing that the tax refund and lower electrical bill will produce an investment account that will be available for education and early retirement, and based on a 30-year projection until retirement, it would have an estimated rate of assets equaling $195,000. I know this is a very difficult thing to conceive of, that your electric bill of $280 a month, along with the federal tax credit that you're eligible for, if installed before the deadline, will accomplish such a change in your financial future for your family. But in fact, it will. Psychologists tell us that most human action is taken for one of two reasons: either to avoid a punishment, something we do not want to happen, or to gain a benefit that seems to be very effective for us. Well, in this slide, we're seeing the results of the damage that will be done to your family financially by taking no action, by staying with your electric company. This is based on a 10-year study showing that the average electric company is increasing its rates by 6% per year. At the bottom of the arrow, again, we're using that sample of $280 per month, and it's showing that that cost is $3,360 per year. Follow the arrow up for the next 10 years, 20 years, and all the way to the end of a 30-year period. Maybe that's just before your retirement. How is your retirement income, which is reduced, going to possibly handle the same electric company and bill, which will require a payment of $1,608 a month, or on an annual basis be consuming more than $19,298? That is a major penalty to avoid. So the cost of taking no action is far greater than the zero cost out of pocket to install a solar system in your home as soon as possible. This slide and the next one are going to show the benefits that are actually realized by installing a solar system now. In the previous slides, I mentioned that your present electric company, who was charging $280 per month, that's the same amount that you'd be paying a reduced amount of only $70 to the electric company, and the other $210 would pay for the cost of the solar system. And once the solar system is paid, it would go into a fund account to build up the education and early retirement assets. However, the $70 portion with the electric company, that's going to continue to increase. So this chart and this arrow is showing that today it's $280, but because the $70 portion keeps increasing at 60%, it will go to $335 in 10 years, then $434, and 30 years from now that bill would have increased the $70 portion to $613, $7,356 a year. But remember, if you have not installed the solar system, you at that same point in 2044 would be paying approximately $19,000 instead of the $7,000. Now the next slide will show us how the accumulated account is growing money for the Student Education Fund and the Early Retirement Account. Just imagine an electric company that for the $280 a month, or whatever the increasing bill will be, they not only are giving electricity to the home that you need, but also are sending you a check every month that could be deposited so that it can grow a balance in the next 10 years of over $15,000. In 20 years, over $72,000. And in a 30-year period, the electric company would have sent you checks and the interest on those checks totaling over $195,000. This is what's possible when the savings generated by your solar system and the federal rebate are placed into accounts and allowed to grow at compound interest over a period of time so that they are there as a resource. Remember, all these assets are being established without an additional dollar for your solar system. It's quite amazing, and it shows you how all of these factors enter together so that it can not only create free electricity, but it can create education and a comfortable retirement, all with the power of the sun. Let's review for just a moment. Your family can now have a solar system, a student college fund, and an early retirement plan at zero additional cost to your budget. All of this is possible just simply using the 280 that we're using for this example. If that happens to be your electric bill, it shows how the 210 would be paying for your solar system and then placed into an investment for retirement, and the remaining $70 still is being sent to your electric company each and every month. It certainly has been said many times that it's impossible to get something from nothing. I hope what you're seeing here is that it is possible to get something from knowledge, from a combination of skills of financial planning, real estate services from an excellent realtor, and of course, an excellent solar producer and installer. These benefits can be your family's, and we appreciate very much you having the time that you've invested in reviewing the slides. We would love to hear from you personally with any comments of any way that we could make the material clearer in any way, or to simplify it. Your comments are very, very important to us. So again, I thank you personally for your time, and please do give us a call, send us an email, and we'd love to hear from you. Have a great day. Welcome, everyone. My name is Ed McClements, and I'm the owner of SonShine Solar.pro. We are a solar company, but one that's quite different than the others. Our solar company, you see, is one that has the combined expertise, actually, of a certified financial consultant. Secondly, a realtor with some 30 years of experience in home improvements and helping homeowners sell their homes faster and for higher values. And one of the best solar companies, manufacturer of solar equipment, one of the biggest installers. But we come to you with a difference, and we appreciate very much you spending some time with us so that we can share that view and that we can help you not make one of the major mistakes that we see other solar companies offering, and with a lack of information, homeowners are saying yes to, and it's a very, very costly mistake in getting that type of solar program. And I'll cover that in the next slide. So thank you very much for being with us, and I look forward to this opportunity of sharing just input on solar and why we all should consider doing it right away.